109-103 loss to the Indiana Pacers last night. Milwaukee now trails the Pacers 3-1. Game 5 is at Indy, and tip-off is set for 5 p.m. tomorrow night. Pre-game coverage will start at 4:30. You can hear that right here on Madison's home of Milwaukee Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Now on to the good news. The Green Bay Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round of the NFL draft for the first time in 23 years. We'll have reaction first with Jim, Matt, and Molly here starting right now, and then the huddle with Barry Alvarez at 6 o'clock.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
Do you remember the last time the Green Bay Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round of the draft? Maybe that streak comes to an end.
Yeah, I can imagine.
For the first time since 2002, draft a wide receiver, Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas.
It's time, baby. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Matt Hamilton and Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I am Jim Rutledge alongside Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton and Molly Brown. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
The mountains were blue in Green Bay as I was up there on Friday. Molly was up there on Thursday. I was crushing a few Coors Light. Because I got a chance to talk with our good friends James White and Melvin Gordon and Gary Ellerson on a Badger Chalk Talk sort of thing when we had a private event at our Tundra Trio up in Green Bay. The city of Green Bay represented well. I'll tell you what, I would love to see the audited numbers for the 600,000. Like if that's 600,000 unique people coming through, because Friday the trio was pretty empty and Friday during the day was pretty empty. The weather was terrible. I don't fault it. I would say that they did the same thing in Detroit and everywhere else. It's kind of like when you go to a stadium and you look around and go, this is a sellout, huh? I can easily see thousands of empty seats. So I'm not saying the Packers didn't and Green Bay didn't show out. I would love to see if it was 600,000 unique people coming through or if it was like 350,000 people that came and went over the weekend, the same ones.
I'm not sure. My husband did go up on Friday, and it was really full based on the photos that he sent me, which was cool. But I'm curious about that, too, because I did the whole app thing. I got the one pass. I had my QR code ready to go as I walked through the security systems, whatever. And she goes, oh, we're not even looking at that. And I'm like, so how are you keeping track of who's all here? Like, I thought that was the whole reason of getting this dang app was then you could scan it and be like, oh, one person, 2 people, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Like,
so these are the conspiracies. I'm not a big conspiracy guy. These are the conspiracies that I like because
Judgmental Jim.
nobody cares. Like, nobody cares if it was 350,000 people that went through multiple times that looked at 600. You came up with 600,000. Nobody's going to investigate. It's harmless. The city of Green Bay did a great job representing. I mean, people, I'm glad I got their comeuppance. Everyone trying to charge $100 for parking. That worked for like a day.
did you pay for parking?
No.
I did not either.
And Friday, it was already knocked down like $50. So, like, that gambit was quickly shot down. So, it seemed like some of the extortion efforts were shot down quickly. Some of the people trying to make a ton of money off their Airbnbs, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I heard there was one still available, like, across the street.
There was hotel rooms still
sold.
available in Green Bay. So, some people who thought they were going to roll back 600,000 people truly up there. That ain't happening. But I would say this will be, no matter what, the most local draft in NFL draft history.
What does that mean?
I think
Like there's more Packer fans than all other fans?
I would say people from Wisconsin.
Right, okay.
Because one, it is a giant pain in the ass to get in Green Bay. And so if you're coming from New York or anywhere else, you're going to fly to Appleton or Milwaukee and then drive up. And then, again, they were extorting prices up in Green Bay. So then you're like, maybe I'll stay in Appleton, maybe I'll stay in Milwaukee. And it's like, well, why even go? Or maybe I'll go for the first day. So I do think that this draft had probably a lot of people from, I would imagine, Chicago drove up on Thursday. It's not that bad of a drive. Minnesota and then Wisconsin. I would say, and I don't mean this is a bad way. I do think they pulled tons of numbers, but I think it was probably one of the most regionally attended NFL drafts in NFL history, and it probably will always be that.
Felt like Green Bay to me.
And that's not a knock. I think Wisconsin
from here on out.
Wisconsin showed up.
Yeah.
Basically, Green Bay did what Nashville did as far as numbers.
Which is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
For being Green Bay, Wisconsin, that's pretty good. So what, Super Bowl next?
I mean,
Never.
pretty cool. They they said that there was so many people on the first night, they were bringing people into the lower bowl.
Yeah.
The aerial views on the coverage were really cool with that because you could see all the people in the aerial bowl or in the bowl, and then you could see that just giant setup with the stage and just shoulder to shoulder 50 yards, 60 yards away from the stage.
Yeah, I got a notification from the aforementioned app that said we have suspended allowing people in because it's completely full. And it was completely full. And that's why they started letting people into actual Lambeau Field because it was packed.
Yeah.
Packed. Which was awesome.
I will say, after I got done working at the Tundra Tree on Thursday, I did go in to the venue area with my dad and brother. Once again, did not have to scan a single thing. Walked in at 6 p.m., but I think it was 2 minutes after we got in, that's when they stopped letting people in at all. And then I think we had friends waiting, got there 5 minutes after we did. Mm-hmm. They had to wait, I believe, an hour and a half before they were allowed to get in.
Insane.
And then by the time they got in, they just went right to the lower bowl. They went right to the concourse area because everything else was full. It was packed, especially towards the stage area, but it wasn't packed to the point where it's literally cannot move packed. But
right.
it was full.
Right. So for you, I went to one of my favorite local watering holes, got a bucket of Coors and some boneless chicken wings, and decided I was going to watch.
You got chicken nuggets?
Yeah, I got chicken nuggets. And I will say, I think a lot of the people at the draft were like me. I kept on saying, once the Packers draft, I'm out of here.
Oh, the place emptied.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I know. I watched 2 picks later and just funneling out. Pick 24, Vikings, no one cares. We're out of here.
Goes again, back to my working theory, and this isn't a slight, that this will be the most regionally attended NFL draft in NFL history.
Felt like Green Bay to me.
You know what? I think maybe I'm of the minority here. I don't know. But they got to figure out how to make the draft, let's speed it up a little bit. This is just taking way
and it was
too
still
long.
Nobody was really running their clock either. Again, I'm just watching the TV time, so who knows where the accuracy in that lies. But most teams, there's a lot of times that player was running out of the tunnel, still waiting to get his jersey and the hat from Roger Goodell, and it said the pick was in.
Yeah.
But they had to go through the pageantry still.
Then they got to go through commercials, and I understand it all, but and then the schedule release thing, because was that right before the Bears pick, right? The schedule release. So then it was God, we had to sit through that entire thing, which May 14th, I believe, right? That's when it's coming out, May 15th.
I could care. Again, that was one of those where I love the NFL. I could care when the schedule is released.
Oh, see, I get excited because I'm I want to see when the Packers are playing in Arizona, because I believe they're out in Arizona this year, so I'm curious to see about that because maybe I want to go. But we'll see. But no, that whole thing, it was okay, this is just another 5 minutes that I got to wait for the Bears
I
pick.
could send her on a work trip. Molly, you're going to the Packers-Cardinals game this year.
Hey, get me a sideline pass. I'm in.
I will give credit where credit's due. I thought the Packer fans did a great job of being quiet and then honoring McMichael and Walter Payton, because those also happened before the pick, and then they got after
that also took. I'm sorry, that took that added to the schedule release too.
Yes, but I was more interested in that, and instead of Laura Rutledge and who was up there the big news. We're gonna tell you. Here's an Excel file. It's gonna be released on May 14th.
Right.
What? Huh?
At least tell us the foreign games or something, right? The international games. Tell us that. That would have been something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I want to get to the actual Packers draft, and this is the way we can do it, which I don't think has been asked yet on our airwaves. And we're going to chime in right now on the Siding Unlimited, on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 844-770-3776. List is more. Our Siding Unlimited poll question to start the show is, who won the weekend? Was it the city of Green Bay? Was it the Green Bay Packers actual draft? Or what's our other option here?
Mark Murphy.
Mark Murphy.
That was so cool.
Because Mark Murphy's getting his flowers today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a while.
I can imagine.
Like, I think a lot of things might be erased because of this whole, like, his whole thing on stage.
That was great.
Like, I totally forgot that the Packers didn't want to pay taxes.
But again, I think I said this on when I filled in on Friday with Strofe. It's in normal times. Hopefully we go back to this someday. But it's like when a president leaves. Most of the times it's like, oh, you know what? It wasn't that bad. Like George Bush is painting pictures. Everyone, Democrats, Republicans, like, what a nice fella. George and Michelle Obama are best friends. Like, in normal times, you're like, you know what? It wasn't as bad. I was just caught up in my feels in the moment, and now you let it go. Mark Murphy, outgoing president for the Packers, you're like, yeah, he was a doofus sometimes, but he was our doofus, and he went out on this note. You know what? It's not that bad. It wasn't as bad as I made it in my head, and I think over time Murphy's going to be looked at better. And I just like in normal times presidents, as you get further away, you're like, you know what? I'm a little nostalgic for it. And I think Packer fans are going to be a little bit nostalgic for Murphy just for like, let's say policy is, let's say, uptight and doesn't give you anything and it's just boring. You can be like, I need a Murph bomb. I need something wild. I need that gap tooth guy to say something crazy.
I need someone to want to go to Chippewa Falls with.
Right. Yeah.
What was the thing that he said at the girls' high school basketball championships? What was that?
He's a complicated fella.
I think he broke the news that the Packers are trading Aaron Rodgers.
Like, we need that. We need that in our lives with that policy.
You're gonna miss him when he's gone.
Exactly.
I think it was a little bit of that on social media where I just reminded me of an outgoing president. Usually, you're like,
I just feel like Goody takes all the brunt for me. Like Murphy was, he was a doofus, but like you said, he was our doofus.
Yeah.
I was fine with Murphy. I guess if he could have stepped in and led Goody in the right direction a little bit more often, I would have been pleased. But
We got to get to Chippewa Falls.
yeah, we gotta get to Chippewa Falls.
Just everything dorky.
Yeah, they like green and gold.
I
Murphy
loved
won.
it.
I don't think it's even close. I think Murphy won.
844-770-3776. It's Carlos talking text line. This is more. Who won the weekend? The city of Green Bay, the Packers, or Mark Murphy? You can write in another one, but that's what we'll post at ESPN Madison, brought to you by Siding Unlimited. Like I said, city of Green Bay, I thought did a great job. And,
wasn't there like a weird stat? It was like 300,000 on day one and one arrest.
Right.
And that's pretty good. That's like fewer than Packer
that.
game days, and it's only like 80,000 to fill Lambeau.
No, that's the one stat I don't believe. That feels like
I think it's still.
You think maybe they just threw a couple warnings out
Yes.
instead?
Wait, how many arrests were there in
We
the
want
city?
to arrest you, but we're going to take
There was
you
somebody
away.
vomiting outside of the Packers Pro Shop at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Cooking the books.
Yeah,
That's just Green Bay, baby.
Were those
It smells
just
like Green Bay to me.
Were those the numbers just from the
Felt like Green Bay to me.
like the police of like the city of Green Bay, or what were the police for
I
the
don't know.
city
I
of
just heard him
Ashwaubenon
somewhere.
Because let's be
Probably,
honest,
it might have been. Honestly, it might have been on Strofe's Friday cast
Oh,
where
that's
he
prob-
said that,
that's-
where I heard it. So if
No
it is
idea.
true,
Fake news.
Irrelevant.
good
Yeah.
stat for the Packers. Way to be welcoming to the other fans, because how easy just to be a troll. It's not hard. And then like I said, if it is real, good job, Wisconsin. Welcome. I'll throw a little bit of flowers at your feet if that's a real stat. Because I like it.
I feel like cooking the books. I feel like they didn't want to have a lot of arrests. So
Yeah,
it's
because
kinda-
if you're like, 15 people were arrested today, well, then people are going to be like, well, I don't want to
a
go
lot
up
of
there.
warnings. I feel like whoever got arrested did a lot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
fair
I
enough.
think-
Either way, I'm taking that stat regardless of whether they're a little more lenient or not. That's just good. What's the word?
Can you stop
hosts.
though? Like
good
you're,
hosts.
you're acting like, we didn't assault anyone and we didn't get arrested, so we did a good job hosting people.
Yeah.
Like set a higher standard.
No, is a high standard, because I'm sure that happens at a lot of drafts.
Well, now you'd have to like, again, also like major cities have other crimes, so I don't know how you cross reference it, but like I'm sure Nashville didn't have a ton of arrests either, based around the draft.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I get your standard is weird.
I'm
'cause,
just
like,
saying.
I don't think the draft
I know
is a
there's
crime
more
hub.
on Packers game days with 80,000. There was way more people, and there wasn't more than one, according to these numbers. So I'm like, that's a win.
When was the
Take
last
that
time
for
that you
data.
looked these numbers up, or are you just solely relying on Stroh from Friday?
Well, I mean, Strofe was on statewide. He wasn't going to go completely off the record.
All right. Well, I think we should. I think we should look something up
behind it. Yeah,
I think we should look it up. Yeah, maybe ask Google AI.
If it is real, which I believe everything I hear on ESPN Madison. Yeah, that's an awesome stat.
It says one arrested at the draft, so I don't know.
There you go.
Specifically at the draft,
300,000.
Yeah, what about
at the draft?
There also wasn't 300,000 people. It was 205. Like, that number has been said over and over and over and over and over.
205,000. What?
You're 95,000 people off.
That's a good.
Take
that's
that for
good
data.
Percentage. 1 out of 205,000 is still pretty.
We're
darn
not
good.
including all the bars around Lambeau Field at all.
It's just such a weird number that like people didn't get arrested. I'm sure that person that got arrested was probably. I think they had a choice: public intoxication, and I feel like the city of Green Bay could have been like, "We're just not," because it's a lot of walking around, and we're just not going to ding you, as opposed to a Packer game. When you have, and again,
there's still a street that's open.
Yeah, and you have people who are much more mobile. They're going home more often.
Right.
It seemed like a lot of people stayed. So I think it's one of those where it's just going to kind of let you do your thing.
Numbers are numbers, Jim. That's a stat. I don't care if it all came in the fourth quarter or not.
I'm not even disputing the stat. I think it's a weird flex. That's all.
I'm not even flexing. I was proud of Wisconsin for not being belligerent. Is that so much to ask? Is that so crazy to be like, hey, guys, way to keep it together? I'm a nut.
You had low standards, which is fine, I guess, if that's how you want to do it.
Sometimes the mountains are really blue and mistakes happen.
844-770-3776 is how you get into the show. Our Saturday Unlimited poll question is who won the weekend? Mark Murphy, Green Bay, the city of Green Bay, or the Packers? On the Carbos Talking text line, list is more. Tim in Oregon chimes in. Packers, we got a great receiver.
Let's go.
Which
TBD.
one? TBD. But I do think they made the right
Somebody
pick.
to be excited about.
Yeah, they made the right pick. They got good value. They made the right pick. They didn't reach or anything. And they got a position in need. I think you could be excited about all that.
This was the first time in a long time that I've been incredibly excited when the Packers used their first round pick. Because I know I said just a couple weeks ago that I've always had to just kind of fake it every single first round pick where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pretend like I'm happy. Lucas Van Ness never started a game in Iowa. First round pick, 13th overall. I'm happy. Like, that's what I've always just felt like, that I finally didn't have to fake it. I was sitting at the trio and I literally was like, woo! I screamed when it happened because it was so exciting. You could hear the eruption from the crowd, like, and they're right across the parking lot from our houses. So, I mean, it was super exciting. Also, another pick I was very excited for, Shamar Stewart, you guys. When he went before the Packers, I was like, woo! Hallelujah. But do you think that he would have been picked by the Packers had he have still been available? I'm curious.
Ooh, we can get to that on the other side. I also am going to give you the breakdown of Matthew Golden from The Athletic. The Beast, 5'11", 191 pounds, almost 22 years of age. He's listed as the second best wide receiver, according to Dane Brugler, because he has Travis Hunter as a cornerback. But he has a first/second round grade on Matthew Golden. A couple guys had that. Luther Burden had a first/second round grade, and Emeka Egbuka also had a first/second round grade.
A professional receiver.
Those were the top four receivers in the draft, and they went in almost the exact order here. I guess it went Tet, Egbuka, Golden, Burden, but again, outside of Tet, nobody had a clean first round grade. The other ones had first/second round grades, which again, that just falls to need/eye of the beholder.
Right.
And look, we can get into some of that with Shedeur Sanders. One of the reasons Shedeur Sanders fell was that, one, obviously certain teams didn't like his interviews and things like that, but the majority of the teams, I'm sure the Packers are one of them, they probably never talked to Shedeur Sanders. They probably never scouted him. They had no idea. And that's what Dane Brugler and Matt Miller were saying on some podcasts, that like he fell partly because there was like 6 teams that did the research on him because nobody expected him to fall this far. So there's only a few teams that actually are going to make a draft, feel comfortable making a pick because there's only a few teams that actually have done any sort of background work or any sort of work on Shedeur Sanders. At Canopy Wealth Management, they are a fee-based advisory firm. They don't chase commissions and never back gimmicks or instruments that chase single-day returns or put your long-term goals at risk. The team at Canopy creates strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. Canopy Wealth Management, care, competence, and clarity aren't just buzzwords. They're a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started with them today. That's canopy-wealth.com. It's Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. National and local awards proving Siding Unlimited will deliver peace of mind. Looking for inspiration to replace your windows, roofing, siding, and doors? Stop by our amazing showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. And definitely check out sidingunlimited.com. We are Siding Unlimited.
Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. I've been drinking ZOA Energy for a while now, and I absolutely love it. ZOA is my go-to beverage when I need a boost without the crash that comes with other energy drinks. It's packed with natural ingredients like vitamin B and C, electrolytes, and has zero sugar. It fuels my workouts and busy days. I recently had twins, and I have a toddler, so I need all of the energy I can get. Head over to ZOAEnergy.com to find the location nearest to you to pick up some ZOA for yourself. ZOA Energy for balance and drive.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV.
Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Hey, want to make your next meal a little less ordinary? Well, head to Quick Trip. Hey, we are so back serving up our legendary No Ordinary Chicken. Yeah, your dinner is hand-breaded, fried to perfection, ready to eat for tonight's dinner. Or you can buy it cold, sealed fresh for tomorrow's lunch. You know, we love to make life easier for you. This isn't just any chicken. It's Quick Trip's No Ordinary Chicken. Stop in your local Quick Trip today and taste the difference.
Look, we all know that as we age, our bodies change, but Carbon World Health can help. They have a process of testosterone replacement therapy that includes a diagnostic exam and blood tests to assess your hormone levels to make sure that they are optimal for you, not optimal for your age. Carbon World Health can help you increase your energy, focus, and overall health with their approach to hormone therapy. It's all about quality of life for you. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
Well, I'm a Sally at a late night dive bar. She don't dance, but she down.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown and Matt Hamilton. We are presented by Coors Light. You can get into the show on the Carbos Talk and text line 844-770-3776. Our Siding Unlimited poll question. Who won the weekend? Mark Murphy, Green Bay, the city, or the Packers?
All of the above.
Siding Limited poll question there. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream.
We didn't want to put
we
didn't want to put the Bucks as an option.
Why would you be that rude, Molly?
You're savage.
That was
dude.
savage.
I'll be honest, like the Bucks this weekend
They crushed on Friday. I was excited.
I had no hope they were gonna. I was happy they played well. I had no hope they were gonna win the series, but I was happy they played well. Like I was like, okay.
At least it'll come down to a gentleman's sweep instead of a regular sweep.
Oh yeah, that feels so much better.
Feels a little bit better.
I thought my Pacers in 6 prediction. I felt better about it. After
I forgot about
the Pacers. Now, as I pointed out, and we'll get back to our poll question here, but Matt's talked about in curling, you can be like, all right, we can't win. Let's just call it a day.
Yep.
Call
I
it a
wish
day.
I could do that.
Save Giannis. I don't need any more. I don't care about playoff stats for Giannis. I don't care about another win. You're doing nothing. Like if the Bucks sat, here's my Stephen A. hot take: sit Giannis. Don't even play
for
him.
his next team?
Well, hopefully,
Yeah,
he comes
might
back.
be the last time to see him
for us.
in
Here's the thing:
Cream
if
and
he's
Green.
hurt, you're screwed anyways. Like you can't. You're not going to trade an injured Giannis. Like honestly,
So you're going to take away Giannis, like potentially the last home game from all the fans that are going to a playoff game. They're not going to get to see Giannis potentially play his last game in Pfizer as a Buck.
Well,
I'm
he
going to go with the Dave
potentially
Chappelle
did
from the
yesterday.
Bleep them. Bleep those fans. You have an asset. We can come back to that one, but bleep those fans. Keep the asset. You got no chance of winning. Only bad things can happen if Giannis plays. Bleep them.
There's definitely no chance. There's always a chance if Giannis is in a game.
You're not winning the series. I don't care about a game.
Okay.
844-770-3776. Who won the NFL draft this week in the city of Green Bay, the Packers draft class, or Mark Murphy? Right now, 61% of you say the city of Green Bay, 34% of you say Mark Murphy. Getting to the Packers draft class, we're going to get down
Which only
to
has 5% of the vote.
Yes. Get down to the breakdown from the Beast from The Athletic. I do want to – I composite – again, this is just from Google, but I asked Google AI what was the composite draft score for – teams in the NFC North. The Packers. So it's like ESPN, Yahoo, SI, Bleacher Report, a few others. I don't know all of them. It came out to the average for the Packers was a B. The average for the Lions, B+. The average for the Vikes, B-. And average for Chicago, B+.
Take that for data.
So all in a range. A little bit. I mean, the Vikings probably had the worst and the biggest variant there.
They also only had, 4 picks? Did they end up trading any away? I have no idea.
I think they finished with 5. I think they traded back slightly. But, yeah, like you said, biggest variance because the fewest number of picks. One pick, difference of opinion could sway that largely.
Right. For an example, both Chicago and Green Bay had 8 picks. Chicago came in with less than 8. And part of I think Chicago got a higher grade because they traded back at one point and got a 4th rounder next year. So I think that was part of their draft grade as well. They were able to get draft. So basically they got Joe Thuney for nothing because they traded away their 4th round pick for Joe Thuney from the Chiefs, and they got one back for moving back. One little wild thing, I think they traded a specific pick with the Buffalo Bills. I think it ended up being traded 6 times between the Bills and the Bears. Because
That's crazy.
Because they had traded a few years ago to get a player from the Bills, that pick, and then they traded it back, and then they traded it again, and then it got moved a few more. It was really weird. But to the Green, I like sort of that stuff with the weird draft notes you find out after the fact. In fact, I'll share a positive one for the Packers before we get to their overall draft is Sorrell, Baron Sorrell, the guy from Texas. I believe it was on Nate Tice's podcast, but he said that the player that everyone on Texas, this is a common question scouts ask, if you could take one guy with you to the pros who's graduating with you or whatever, or who's leaving with you, who would it be? And the number one answer across the board was Sorrell from Texas.
Aw, that makes me feel good.
Let's go.
Yeah, so...
I mean, the back and forth that him and Golden had on Twitter. Like, first of all, immediate follow for Golden after he went up on stage. Like, insta-follow.
His fit fire.
Elite. That jacket was amazing. And then second, he's going back and forth with the new player, also a Texas guy. Like, I like that there's camaraderie. Even though they're other sides of the ball, there's camaraderie already there. Like
camaraderie?
Camaraderie.
Importantness. It's important. The importantness of having camaraderie.
Importantness. No, totally. I understand what you're saying.
So I really enjoyed that little back and forth on Twitter there between those two.
You know, he could have been in the mix, Sorrell, for winning the weekend, or Golden. But Sorrell's story was really sweet. The fact he just went up there as a fan and decided to be there and ended up having to sit a whole day. And then
right, because he was in the green room on day 2-3, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And then he got picked on day 3.
Or no, rounds 2-3.
Yes, day 2.
Sorry, yes.
So we're asking the question, 844-770-3776. Carl was talking text line. This is more. Who won the NFL draft this week in the city of Green Bay, the Packers draft class, or Mark Murphy? We have a few texts coming in here. Brett in Madison says the NFC North won this weekend because now all the receiver rooms are loaded. Should be fun to watch. That's Brett in Middleton. I don't know. 2 different answers there. He says Brett Madison on the member, and then the message says Middleton. So one of those 2. Then Ryan, our psychedelic advisor, says, Jim, I haven't had a chance to break down the Bears draft picks, how they do. I'll just go with across the board. B+ is what I've seen for most of them. Worst thing I've seen is that they, much like the Packers, the Bears had certain needs they didn't fill. A lot of Bears fans wanted a running back. They didn't get one until the last round. They got a guy from Rutgers who was a hell of a player in the Big Ten. Had more of like a 4th round grade, fell to the 7th, but I don't know what he'll be. But I would say that I think the Bears they're a worse team than the Packers. I think the Bears got 4 guys who will contribute in year 1.
The happiness I felt when the Bears didn't get Ashton Genty.
Oh,
Woo!
yeah. Well, I mean, I
was like, thank God.
I don't like, I try not to root actively against a team. I can root for the team they're playing, but I'm not going to I'm not wishing for injury or anything like that. I was definitely wishing that Genty would go before 10. So much. Just it was a nightmare pick if the Bears got him.
If the Bears got him at 10, I was freaking out they were going to trade up.
That's what I thought they were going to do.
I really was lukewarm on trading up. And actually, I'll say thank you to the Jaguars because they paid. I think they overpaid to move up, and they got the best player in the draft, but they're not one player away. But I think that overpay scared away every other team because Chicago's like, if that's what they have to pay to move up 2 spots, I'm not paying God knows what to move up.
Because I was a little curious too because we had talked hey, maybe since this is not a super strong draft class, people are going to want to move down rather than move up. You can get value moving up as opposed to moving down where it's traditionally been. It was like a normal draft.
The Jaguars blew that up.
If you want to move up, you have to pay a king's ransom.
Yeah, and a couple teams did well.
Was a first, second, a first next year, and then they swapped 4th rounders or something?
The headline out of it, I don't have the whole thing. The headline out of it is giving up a first rounder next year is massive because the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And then that year's second, I think.
You're not betting on that team being great, and so it's a big risk because now Cleveland is set up, even though they got Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel and every other quarterback, Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett and Deshaun Watson. They are now set up with 2 first-round picks, and they might pull off their own they might have just pulled off their own Bears trade where the Bears got 5 starters out of that trade with the Carolina Panthers for Bryce Young. Ryan, did you pull up the...
I have the Jaguars-Browns trade.
Yeah, that's what
the Jaguars, in addition to giving up the 5th selection, also gave up their 2nd-round pick, which was 36 overall. Then they gave up their 4th-round pick, number 126 overall in this year's draft, and their 1st-round selection next year. Jaguars received from the Browns pick number 104 and 200 selections in the 2025 draft. Those are 4th and 6th-round picks. So they basically traded slightly back up in the 4th round and gave up a 2nd rounder, a 1st rounder, and another 1st rounder.
But did they technically get 2 players with Travis Hunter?
I did hear some good conspiracies from Jags fans saying that they should only play him as a wide receiver this year, and then next year start to implement him as a cornerback, and then you say him playing cornerback, that's this year's draft pick.
That's not a conspiracy theory. That's more like bargaining.
Yeah, it is.
Take that for that.
Yeah,
it's reasoning with
makes you feel better
purchase.
about it.
Yeah.
After I go to Costco and I spend $700 and I'm like, it's fine. It'll last me a lot of months. And then
2
I'm back
gallons
2 weeks
of ketchup
later.
is a good investment.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in my house, y'all know I love my ketchup.
Yeah.
Ew.
Got a lot of kids.
I'm
She's got
a
kids.
bottomless
ketchup.
I got kids. We don't go through that ketchup.
Guys, I don't actually go through 2 gallons. I don't even buy ketchup from Costco. Come on.
Where do you get your ketchup?
I literally buy the cheapest available ketchup because it's all the same.
So my wife buys some sort of cheap
That is crazy.
organic ketchup.
Yeah, you can literally get a bottle of organic ketchup from Walmart for $1.50. It's not.
I'm anti-Walmart, so I tell my wife not to tell me she buys anything from Walmart because Walmart sucks. But in general, I just assume it's from Aldi's then. But in general, it's an organic, generic ketchup.
Imagine being super protective of your ketchups. Like,
Well, it sounds like you two are the way you guys are reacting.
Can I share this?
Canada had awful ketchup.
Can I share this?
Canada has awful ketchup.
One of the things I can't speak to Canadians ketchup, but ketchup.
Wait, please do, Jim. Please go deeper.
But I do have this bit. So mustard. There's a million different types of flavors of mustard that's taken off all these different flavors because mustard is obviously just a different flavor palette.
It's the goat condiment.
But much like bacon, ketchup is one of those things that kind of touch all of like the savory, sweet, all that on your tongue, and so it's very soothing. That's why kids like to put ketchup on everything because kids then it's a taste that they're familiar with. And at a certain point, your what is it called? The evolution kicks in, and you're like, I can't eat things that taste different, or I might die. So kids like ketchup because then it lets them know that they're eating something safe. So then you're eating ketchup, but ketchup because of the way the flavor palette on your tongue is so perfect, you can't improve on it. That's why like the spicy ketchups or flavor ketchup, none of that's ever taken off because most people, it's so perfect as is, you can't alter it. They've tried for years. They basically, all those places have given up because you can't come up with a flavor that people want and in mass for a flavor ketchup.
I believe that. I mean, there's no reason to change it. It's already good.
They tried.
And to change if you want it to be spicy, put some sriracha.
But they tried forever. Nobody ever bought it. They tried different ones. It just doesn't. Yeah. Nobody buys it.
Fair enough.
I don't know why you think about like it's a science thing. It's not like
no. I'm just processing
like,
what you're saying, and then I'm trying to think of different flavors of ketchup. I'm like, okay, there's like mayo ketchup, right? I don't know if I've ever had a spicy ketchup.
You never had a spicy ketchup?
That was a thing for a bit. I don't know if they still do make it. But
I will say Canada's trash ketchup, way too sweet.
Does it taste like maple syrup? What?
Yeah, it's just too sweet. It's sweeter than regular ketchup.
In Canada, maple syrup has to go in everything. So yeah. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, really?
No.
Oh my God, I've never heard that. What? Good one. You got me.
You did get got. That was an
if I actually got
lie.
you, it was in the delivery because I delivered it the same way I delivered the ketchup news.
Yeah, you did.
At Carbon World Health, they're not going to chase any fads. They're going to do what's best for your body, whether it's semaglutide to GLP-1s, whether it's hormone replacement treatment for men and women. Look, if you're not feeling like your regular self, and that could be anxiety, that could be feeling down, not getting up in the morning as much like you used to, not gaining weight that you didn't normally gain, or not gaining muscle like you used to. There's many reasons to go get your testosterone levels tested at Carbon World Health. You also can ask them about cryotherapy, red light therapy, and they have a great gym over on the west side. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
You can take the boy out of North Carolina, but you can't take the North Carolina out of the boy. I like me some Bulldogs up here on the Packers.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Live the high life at Nitty Gritty, home of the famous Gritty Burger in Madison's official birthday place. Celebrate your birthday at Nitty Gritty and receive a free memento birthday mug to fill with free beer, specialty birthday cocktails, or soda all day long. The Nitty Gritty has celebrated almost 900,000 birthdays, and birthday celebrant number 900,000 will receive a $1,000 Amex gift card. Grab some friends and celebrate your birthday at the Nitty Gritty, located in Madison, Middleton, and Sun Prairie. The Nitty Gritty, a tradition since 1968.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973, and they're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether it's the sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none and has exactly what you're looking for. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue, Honda's first all-electric SUV, or browse their selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
Is it Pangea is where all the continents were together?
It was Pangea.
Pangea, yeah.
Panacea.
You said panacea, right? Or panacea?
A panacea is the perfect solution.
Where did you learn that word?
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, Allie, did you look at Janet's roof? Ugh, it's like so flat. It looks like one of those roofing contractor commercials. Who even understands those roofing guys anyways?
I like flat roofs and I cannot lie. You other contractors can't deny. TPO way up high. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring.
If you want a roof that's worth staring at, Avondale Roofing is where you go. Your roofing experts for over 30 years. AvondaleRoofing.com.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Jim Rutledge here, and I want to tell you about the Brewers Company, Dane County's premier retailer of outdoor furniture. They'll help you elevate your outdoor living space like they have for me. Exceptional craftsmanship, all the latest styles, colors, and durable materials that hold up to whatever Wisconsin weather brings. From deep seating to dining, pick your set and the Brewers Company will customize it to fit your style. Visit their furniture showroom in Middleton and let their trained staff help you bring your outdoor dreams to life. The Brewers Company, your outdoor living experts.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
God knows I am reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on. I need her, my babies. Woke up.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown and Matt Hamilton. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. We are presented by Coors Light. Shout out to Tyler in Sun Prairie. Said he lived in San Antonio for a few years. Whataburger jalapeno ketchup is legit. They sell it at all the Hy-Vees, which is basically the only grocery store in all of Texas. He says, buy it online if you're looking for something different. Thank you, Tyler. I am not looking for something different. I am not a ketchup consumer for the most part, so I appreciate it, but I did want to share it with the fans because I did share a little tidbit, if you're just tuning in, about how ketchup, along with bacon, are just one of the most palatable flavors or food out there in the world. Bacon is another one that basically, you have all those spots on your tongue, the savory, sweet. Bacon and ketchup hit them all. And so it's rare that there is, and again, the point that you can only get in Texas and it's a specific Hy-Vee, there's not really been a mass-marketed ketchup that's different than the original, as opposed to mustard. There's countless varieties of mustard.
Yeah.
Not even just the brands. So we do have a siding limited poll question that's not related to that. We wanted to know who won the weekend. Was it the city of Green Bay? Was it the Packers draft class, or was it Mark Murphy? Right now, 66% of you say the city of Green Bay, 29% of you say Mark Murphy, 4.8% of you say Packers draft class, 844-770-3776. That's Carlos talking text line. List is more. I want to give you a little bit of a report here from the Beast, from Dane Brugler with The Athletic, and here's what he had to say about Matthew Golden. He has him as wide receiver number 2 with a first or second round grade. Worth noting, wide receiver number 2 because he doesn't have Travis Hunter listed as a wide receiver. But 5'11", 191 pounds, and he is a one-year starter at Texas. Golden was the Z receiver in Coach Steve Sarkisian's RPO pro-style spread offense and was used across the formation with heavy motions. 76% of his snaps wide, 24% of it in the slot. After 2 promising seasons in Houston's air raid scheme, he was an underrated addition for the Longhorns in 2024 and proved especially valuable when it mattered most, averaging 103 yards receiving over his final 4 games, the SEC championship game, and 3 playoff games. Fluid in and out of breaks, Golden shows a plan as a route runner. I love his ability to break down corners and keeping his eyes, hips, and feet in sync. That coordination also translates to catch point, which is very natural ball skills to track, frame, and finish. Overall, It might bother some teams he doesn't have better size, but Golden also doesn't have a glaring flaw to his game that will keep him from being a productive pro. He can play inside or outside and become a go-to target for an NFL offense. Again, that first, second round grade.
And I love it, especially given how he talked about how much he wanted to be the guy that you count on third down, fourth down. Like, when you need a catch, Golden wants to be that guy. And maybe it's just a little bit of, masked in his confidence, but that kind of confidence resonates with me. It kind of reminds me of that Wisconsin overtime, or not overtime, but the shootout with the women's hockey team with seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach, Mark Johnson, just goes, "Who wants it?"
Yep.
Golden's going to be the guy who's like, "I want it." And that kind of confidence, whether he gets it or not, I like that you go out and have that sort of confidence. So I'm stoked on this pick just because of the way that this guy carries himself. He thinks he's a number one wide receiver, and he's going to come into Green Bay with that mindset. Whether he turns out to be that guy remains to be seen, but I like that he believes he can be that guy right out the gate.
So, who in this receiving core is he replacing?
Well, I think he's Watson because he's so fast. He's going to be. I hope he's going to be used to spread the defense out down the field.
But like Jim said, he doesn't have the height, right? Christian Watson is what, 6'3", 6'4"?
True, but there's
somewhere?
plenty of guys.
6'4".
Look at Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill blew the top off the defense.
Okay, but
I'm just saying he's a
listening to
short
the
guy who's
aberration.
fast.
One, though.
Okay, I do want to give you a list.
Short guys in the NFL who aren't number ones.
Xavier Worthy, then? You want to use him as an example?
Open up the top. Yeah, Xavier Worthy's a good example. Jaden Reed he wasn't used over the top that much. He was a guy who was hit on slants and hit on under routes.
But maybe that changed this year because they don't have Watson.
It could. I see him stepping into Watson's spot as the guy who's going way down the field, forcing safeties deep.
All right, other NFL receivers under 6 feet, some notable ones: Elijah Moore, Odell Beckham Jr., Hunter Renfrow, Christian Kirk, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Lockett, Jalen Waddle.
So those are the guys, that's what you got?
I mean, those are all pretty good receivers.
I'm sorry, Darnell.
They're better than what the Packers currently have.
I'd take Jalen Waddle over Watson.
I think they drafted. I think they drafted Jaden Reed. But here's the difference. And Jaden Reed,
having two Jaden Reeds on the field might be worthwhile.
So last year, I thought it was laughable when the Packers were like, "We're going to hit you with a preponderance of receivers. We're just going to be going to be crazy out there."
No, that dwindled quickly last year.
They didn't have it. This year, Golden and Reed can stretch. They can be layered in the offense. I don't think it's and I'm not saying Matt. I think we all do this sort of we got to play Madden. We just got to replace Watson, the deep field guy, and he just runs down the field. What Golden allows you to do is that because of his speed, you better hope to God he doesn't replace Watson, because Watson was a one-trick pony. So you better hope that he is truly an outside guy, which then allows mismatch problems for teams where it's if Reed's going deep, we can't let him go deep, but then we have to watch Golden across the middle. Then the next time it could be Golden going deep with Reed across the middle. Then you have Tucker Kraft.
Right.
You have Tucker Kraft 10 yards down the field who's wide open. Now he's got the ball in space. So he's creating mismatches. His size, and again, you have Matt LaFleur, so I think it works, but his size, just like Reed's size, requires a coach to scheme guys open. But when you have Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, Reed, Golden, and Dobbs, then I think now all of a sudden you have a lot of matchup and specific nightmares, and allows the Packers to be multiple. So I don't know if he's going to be a traditional Devontae Adams one.
Right.
But I think he's going to be a good weapon. And again, Jaden Reed, what did he do as a rookie 2 years ago? I think he had a good – if you get Jaden Reed numbers out of Golden –
He had around 800, 900 yards.
64 catches, 793 yards, and 8 touchdowns. If you get that out of Golden this year, that's a boom. That's great.
Yeah.
And then, again, if you get 55...
that's more than Watson had at all.
Right. If 55,
I was just saying he's going to take a lot of that. He's the one who in college lined up outside 75% of the time.
So I'm going to go...
I trust him to go deep as well as run whatever route. But, that speed is something the defenses are going to have to honor.
Yeah.
Because he's even faster than Reed, I think.
He is faster than Reed.
I believe he was the second fastest player in the draft.
Here's the thing, though. You got to go play speed. his play speed was not as fast as everyone else. For example, Luther Burden and Tet McMillan had faster, like basically how fast you're running 20-some miles per hour. They were faster in game speed than Golden was this last year. When they had the pads on, they were all fast, but Golden was not as fast.
Do you
as
know
those
where
two.
they compared, like Golden to some of those other guys, GPS speed?
Burden was 1, Tet McMillan was 2, Golden was 3. And they're all within like a tenth of, all very close to each other. But they were just talking, they're all 40 times are all close to each other. Tet is 4.5 and Burden's 4.4. And Jalen Nolan was a guy who also, again, a little bit slower when he had the pads on at 4.3940. So Golden, look, he's going to be fast. I don't know Reed. Maybe Reed was a similar player. But actually, the guy I like, and I think I wonder if I can find his 40 time here. I'm trying to look for it here. But I love
Savion Williams.
Savion Williams, a 4.48 40 at his size. That, to me, if I'm betting on a guy to be the Watson replacement this year and kind of be the MVS Watson one-trick pony, 6'4", 222. And I know in college he was more of a hybrid receiver, and maybe he transfers more to the Deebo Samuel role. But at 6'4", running a 4.45 40 of almost a 4.4 40, like that is tough to stop at that size. And what does Jordan Love to do? His throws are more, I'm going to throw it up and go get it. And I think
tall receivers if you're going to overthrow your guys.
I think Golden can go up and get it, but I'd rather have a 6'4" guy even going up and get it as well. So I actually think Savion Williams was a sneaky, really good pick for the Packers. The one weird thing is you brought up Love. The weird thing I don't know if fits, like, I think Reed's really good. I don't think Love excels at hitting guys like Golden and Reed because they're smaller. You have to hit them with timing, and you have to you don't just bomb it deep and let. Love likes to hold on to the football. He likes to, at times, not let it. When he's at his worst, he holds on too long and lets it fly down the field and tries to be a playmaker. With Reed and Golden, if you have both of them, you want the ball out of Jordan Love's hand as fast as possible. And even with Savion Williams, because it sounds like he does a lot of stuff, shallow and then let him run. So Jordan Love's got a lot of work to do because this offense is built around now. Get it out and then let Golden run.
Well, I like the idea of the offense being built around 10 yards or less yard passes.
But then Jordan has to
and then let him go.
He actually has to let it rip.
Start watching film, my guys.
That's
film.
That's the next step there. I don't even think it's a film thing for Jordan.
Wasn't
I think
that when Jordan was playing his best, though, 2 years ago?
When he let it rip.
Well, yeah, but it was also like he had the ball for like 2 seconds.
There's also a lot of jet sweeps, I feel like, with Jaden Reed a couple years ago.
Those are gone now with Savion Williams in town.
Yeah, Savion will take those. But to your point, and to your point,
I mean, at 220.
Coach LaFleur even said that Jordan started letting it rip.
Yep.
But the problem is, and he did this in college, and this is why sometimes he's inaccurate, is that he seems to be a big game hunter. This is not a Jordan Love isn't reading the defenses or can't see guys open fast enough. This is Jordan Love being a big game hunter when he doesn't need to be. And that to me is concerning, which is why sometimes he has the interceptions and why sometimes he has the lower completion percentage, is that in up and down games is sometimes when he chases the big game, great. But other times, like just let it go. Like just let it rip.
Take what's given.
Yeah, and but this is what I guarantee LaFleur's telling him. You got Tucker Kraft, who can be a big yak guy, and then you have Golden, and you have Savion Williams, and you have Reed. Like, just get the ball in their hands and let them be the stars.
All of them are yak guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Okay. Remember, you can always chime in on the YouTube channel at ESPN Madison. Mike chimes in and says Jamar Chase is only 6 feet tall.
Great. Matthew Golden's not 6 feet tall. He's 5'11".
Depends where you look.
We all agreed earlier the beast from Dane Brugler is kind of, why can I not say his name anymore? Brugler. That's kind of the go-to.
No. I see it on there. He also has the weight different too. I'm just saying I do think it's interesting. But then ESPN has it like he's listed as 6 feet 195, where Brugler has it as 5'11", 191.
Here's what I'm guessing.
Does an inch really matter? I mean,
it always matters. But like, here's the thing with
take that for data.
Take that for data.
Wasn't even thinking that.
Here's the thing. I bet you Golden is his stuff from college. So college says, how tall are you? 6 feet. Brugler's probably pulling it from the combine.
Probably.
And that's the difference. And again, it doesn't mean you can't. But guy on the internet and everyone else, you're naming the aberrations. And I'm saying Matthew Golden will be good. Matthew Golden being a star, we got a lot to go. And his height, as pointed out in every draft report about him, is why he fell. If he was Tet McMillan's height, he would have been picked top 10. He's not.
He's going to be better than Tet.
Were we expecting a star receiver?
I do.
What's that?
Like, were we expecting the Packers to get a star receiver? Or did we? I mean, we kind of knew going in.
At 23, I think a lot of fans right now think that Matthew Golden will be a future number one guy, like Greg Jennings type star, Devontae Adams.
I don't know if they expect him to be Greg Jennings, Devontae Adams level. Maybe he's the leading receiver, but I don't think they're expecting him to be the true like alpha X receiver.
If that's their expectations, I'm right there with them. Because I think he's going to be a good receiver and a good weapon.
I think that's how most people are feeling. I mean, I don't think people are expecting this to be the player that takes the offense to the next level. I think the offense is also changing.
I think for me, I'm hoping he becomes the next Devontae Adams, right?
Well,
like, that is
course.
what I'm hoping for because we just used a first-round pick on him. I want him to be something.
Is that your
and we
expectation
didn't even
with the
give
first round pick?
Devontae a call.
Yes.
When you could have had the actual
hold on.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Your expectation because of the draft pick is he is going to be
I think with any of your first-round picks, you should always hope that they're going to be a freaking star.
So star is Greg Jennings? Like Devontae might be another level. Is it Greg Jennings' career you're looking for out of him?
Star would be a guy, after his rookie year, I'm looking for 75 catches or more a season.
I don't want the numbers.
That's a star to me.
But if you're a dude, like Greg Jennings was a dude, Jordy Nelson was a dude, Devontae Adams, dog. Like, is Golden going to be on that level? Is that your expectation for him?
Is my expectation different than my hope? Because my hope is yes. My expectation, I don't know.
Said you used a first-round pick on but you're just talking about draft capital here. Obviously, none of us really know. Draft capital, first-round pick spent on a wide receiver. Are you saying?
I think no matter what position it's spent on, the person should end up being a star.
Dog.
Now, if we're talking,
what's a star for wide receivers? My question.
I could say like a Jordy Nelson, Jennings, like you're saying. Devontae Adams, I think that's just
that's
fine. That's fine.
He's a Hall of Famer. Like that's a massive
Also,
expectation.
Important to remember, like Jordy and Greg Jennings, their first seasons weren't star receivers yet, though. So I mean,
Golden's got a few years. I think he's going to have a Jaden Reed type rookie season.
Which I'd be so happy with.
But then the question will always be, will he have a Jaden Reed type second season, or will he make a massive jump?
Well, you'd find out after the second season.
Yes, exactly.
I think the question comes back to exactly who we were just talking about, Jordan Love.
Yes.
And that's what makes me nervous about it.
Matt, I'm sorry.
Because I still don't have all the faith in him.
A first-round pick, Golden, like, is it, like, you got to be Greg Jennings? I think Greg Jennings is fair. He had a couple good years as a guy, but he
was good until he went to the Vikings.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit higher than my expectations for Greg Jennings, but it's in that ballpark. Like, I expect you to be a contributor right out the gate, and then essentially, I don't want to say the one because the Packers clearly have structured a team that's still kind of hard to pick out who the one is. You don't have like that prototypical giant who's a stud.
But if you had someone that grabbed it, they would. They're not saying, hey, Jaden Reed, like, don't do too much because we don't want to start.
Right, yeah. They're not going to say we don't want it, but, like, I just don't know if any of these guys are, like, they've clearly set up this team so they can spread the ball around, and there's not, like, a one. I would love for Matthew Golden to be just a dude that can be relied on year in and year out.
Dog. So Greg Jennings had, honestly, 3 elite seasons and then, like, maybe a good season.
Sure, then we'll go with that then, because he's only guaranteed 4 years for the Packers. So yeah, if he can give us 3 really good seasons and 1 good one, that would meet expectation for where he was drafted.
Okay, and again, I was just trying to set it. I don't know. I think if Matthew Golden has a rookie season like Jaden Reed, I think that is everyone should be thrilled.
He's got to be better than Javon Walker.
Javon Walker had a hell of a first year.
Yeah, I know.
But he needs more years than that. All right. If you're looking to elevate your outdoor living space, the Brewers Company is Dane County's premier retailer of outdoor furniture. Exceptional craftsmanship, all the latest styles and colors, and made with durable materials that hold up to whatever Wisconsin weather brings. Many sets from deep seating to dining can be custom designed to your style. Find a time to swing by their furniture showroom in Middleton, and their trained staff will help bring your outdoor dreams to life. The Brewers Company, your outdoor living experts. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening live from St. John's, Newfoundland. The Newfies love Jim, Matt, and Molly. 100.5 ESPN Madison.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank, with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience at starionbank.com. Member FDIC. On to the Hoosier State. Hunter Wooler now an Indianapolis Colt. The former Badger changing things up. Wooler announced as a linebacker rather than a safety, his position all 4 years at Wisconsin. His words on the new challenge, audio courtesy Indianapolis Colts.
I love being near the box. I love being near the ball. I was able to play all over the field, and I think that prepared me very well. Being able to do as many things as I did at Wisconsin, I think it just gives me all the tools to be ready to jump in with Indy and do whatever I can to help get some wins.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo at the Bridges. On Saturday, May 3rd, play in a 2- or 4-person scramble for $120 per person. Includes 18 holes with a cart, prizes, and a Mexican feast. Find more details at golfthebridges.com today.
The keys of a new Audi are in reach at Audi of Madison. Save $3,000 on a new 2025 Audi Q5, A3 sedan, A5 Sportback, or A6 sedan. National Credit is good towards the purchase, finance, or lease of a new Audi, but is only available until April 30th. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see the current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline at Rimrock Road.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
You guys know that I love my ZOA energy. I just had twins and I have a toddler, so I need all the energy that I can get. ZOA gives me the perfect boost without the crash that comes with the other energy drinks. And the best part about it is that ZOA is packed with natural ingredients like caffeine from green coffee and green tea, which fuels both my workouts and my busy days. Pick up some ZOA for yourself. You can find them wherever you get your groceries. Head over to ZOAenergy.com to learn more.
She's Molly Brown. I am Jim Rutledge. We're in the Everlight Solar Studio alongside Matt Hamilton. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. We did have a couple of texts coming through. We'll get to those on the other side. But we want to look back at our dreams and nightmare scenarios for the Green Bay Packers and the NFC North. I don't think any of these hit, but let's take a quick look back. We did this last week where basically we would have picked the dream scenario for the Packers. So for me, it would have been a bad pick for the Packers, or a dream scenario for the Packers with Matt and Molly, a perfect pick for the Packers, and then nightmare, just reverse it. We also did it for NFC North teams. Ryan's got the information for us.
So, guys, I wanted to look through and see where some of the guys who we were looking at ended up. And I think, if I'm looking at it, the one that was the most surprising was definitely Will Johnson, the nightmare pick that Jim had for the Packers, and I believe also Molly's
I thought it was going to happen
pick.
for a hot minute.
I thought for sure it was going to happen. When his name did not get announced, I was sitting in the bowl at Lambeau when the actual Matthew Golden pick was made. People were excited, but I think the excitement would have been just as great if Will Johnson had come off the board. Do you think Packers fans would have felt better or worse if Will Johnson ended up being the guy that they took?
Well, I think with all the stuff that ended up coming out on the actual draft day.
Yeah, that's the tough part because he falls to 47.
Crazy.
To the Cardinals.
But now everyone's
coming into the year, he was a top 10 pick.
And now everyone's applauding the Cardinals. Like the Cardinals got to steal because let's say he can't play this year. Who can't? 47? If you got a future lockdown corner and you just need to redshirt him or sit him for half the year, fine.
Yep.
I would say if the knee thing that came out, I think after the Packer pick, that Schefter reported that teams are worried about his knee. And I don't think it's a specific injury. I think it's a degenerative thing.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Oh, that makes more sense then.
I mean, again, don't quote, but that's what I kind of gathered. Yeah.
Well, Matt, how did you feel when the Raiders took Ashton Genty? How elated were you that he didn't go to the Bears?
I was pretty excited. Like my first guy, I felt really bad about it because they, a lot of the mocks that I was looking at had the Jaguars taking him, and when the Jaguars moved up to 2 to get Hunter, I was like, oh no. That's one of the teams I was banking on to like maybe pluck them out from under the Bears. Like that's one less team. And then, yeah, it got to the Raiders and I was like, this is it. If he's not taken here, it's going to be the Bears. So that was a relief. I got a video of me, my buddy took during the Packers pick. I wish you would have had a very similar reaction when the Raiders took Genty.
More excited?
Like, yeah, my hands were in like the little prayer up by my face when the pick was coming in. And then when it happened, like I was clapping. You thought I was a Raiders fan if I wasn't wearing my Packers jersey.
That was literally me with the Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
There's a video of me reacting to that at the trio.
Oh, when he was picked 17 overall,
Oh my God.
I almost stood up and started clapping.
I was so happy. I was like, thank God we don't have somebody that only got 4.5 sacks.
And it's one of those things, too, where it's like, oh, the Bengals drafted him. I knew it was the right move not to want this guy. Like, he's going to go to the Bengals, and I just have no faith that he's going to have a good career. Like, maybe if he had gone to the Eagles, right, like, scenario, right surroundings, he could have really blossomed. I don't see it in Cincinnati.
You don't think Trey's going to show him how to rush the edge?
Trey's like a guy who got by and like really developed over years based off like his savviness.
That's what this guy's
like
going to do.
This guy.
Oh, you thought that when he was coming to the Packers, or
I don't
know?
No? Yeah.
What?
That Shamar Stewart would do that if he was coming to the Packers? Would you think that exact same thing, or would you be like,
no,
oh
I
my
would have
God?
thought classic Goody. He's going to get a guy who's going to be ready in 3 years, maybe.
I think Shamar Turner, who went to the Bears in the 4th round, will be better than Stewart.
Interesting. Did you see that the Bears picked up somebody with almost your last name? Ratledge?
The Bears did not.
Oh, no, that was the
did.
Lions.
Yeah,
That was the Lions.
Yep.
Tate Ratledge, yes. A guy who said he's a self-proclaimed dirtbag as well.
Oh.
An offensive
Nice.
lineman for the Lions.
He'll fit in nice with
Dan Campbell and
Yeah.
the boys.
Dan Campbell and the
biting at
boys.
the kneecap.
I was also very excited when the Panthers took Tet McMillan
You were excited?
Why would you be excited for that one?
because I didn't want Tet McMillan.
Oh, yeah.
McMillan. That was my nightmare pick.
What was his name?
Tet McMillan.
Tet McMillan. Okay.
Giannis, that's gonna
I was very happy that the Vikings didn't get Nick Emenwari. That's who my nightmare situation was for the Vikings. And then I also got excited because they ended up picking up a guard. So then I was like, oh, they're just trying to protect Aaron Rodgers now. I was getting excited.
Why would you think they traded for Sam Howell before the draft started?
Sam Howell.
They have J.J. McCarthy.
Just as easy as they traded for him, they can get rid of him, and they can get Rodgers. I'm still keeping the hope alive for this storyline, baby.
I think the Vikings looked Aaron Rodgers in the face and said, you know what? We like Sam Howell better. We'll trade up draft capital.
If they did, we'll find out. I'm sure he'll talk about it on the McAfee show. So
more aggrieved Aaron Rodgers. Is that what? Basically, that's what that show is. Like, let me get off my lawn with Aaron Rodgers. Let me tell you about the time Aaron Glenn and everyone in the NFL loves except me.
Amen.
Don't give him any ideas for a segment now.
Don't call me across the country on my own dime to tell me I'm not playing.
After you paid me tens of millions of dollars not to play football for an entire season.
Well, I don't blame him. I don't blame Rodgers for being upset about having to go. What a waste of a day.
Yeah, going to New York.
God, it's so hard to go fly on a private jet.
It is.
And drink whiskey while I just sit there.
Probably tequila, but still rough.
Before we go to break here, Brett Madison chimed in. Per Cleveland radio station, Nick Chubb is on his way to a team in the NFC North. Do you think it will be the Pack? I don't. I think it's going to be the Bears.
I was going to say you were just talking.
But
I thought the Cowboys would go out and get him.
I would say this. I kind of think the Packers missed by not drafting a quarterback. Or, excuse me, not drafting a running back. We can talk about that on the other side. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
It's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center Update brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's premier roofing, siding, and window contractor since 2002. Visit them at ridgetopexteriors.com. Well, the fear for the Milwaukee Bucks has come to life as announced earlier this afternoon. Shams Charania saying that star Damian Lillard has been diagnosed with a torn left Achilles tendon. Sources tell ESPN Dame tore his ACL early in that loss last night against the Indiana Pacers in Game 4 of the Bucks' first-round playoff series. It'll now be rest and recovery as Dame angles towards recovering for next season. Bucks currently up in the air in their series against the Pacers. Game 5 will be tomorrow night at 5 p.m. right here on 100.5 ESPN. Therefore, you'll hear Jim, Matt, and Molly taking over Worldy and Tausch from 9 a.m. to noon tomorrow. Well, then, NFL draft-wise, we got Badgers draft pick Hunter Wohler coming up after Jim, Matt, and Molly wraps up here at 6 p.m. joining the huddle as Barry Alvarez, Tarek Sala, Derek Engler, and Alex Gravatt. We're breaking down all things NFL draft and all things Badgers for you from 6 to 8 right here on 100.5 ESPN. Jim, Matt, and Molly continues next.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow. Oh.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
Do you remember the last time the Green Bay Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round of the draft? Maybe that streak comes to an end.
Yeah, I can imagine.
For the first time since 2002, draft a wide receiver, Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas.
It's time, baby. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison, alongside Matt Hamilton and Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
Hour number 2 of Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Matt Hamilton and Molly Brown. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains below, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. I also can see we share a computer, so basically I get to see what's on the production computer. We have not heard Lost Ketchup yet, the Ketchup song that apparently...
Wait, you can see what's on this other computer now?
Yes. That's what I've always been able to see.
Same.
Oh.
I like to be able... I usually load it up because that way I can see the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. Ryan got a little too nervous on that.
I know he did. What are you looking up?
Well, just in general, like if I want to surprise you guys with a song or something, like it's good to know now that you're looking over my shoulder. Apparently, I never realized this.
Yeah, we already know.
Yeah, Big Brother's watching.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, Lost Ketchup. They don't actually say ketchup in the song Lost Ketchup, so I didn't feel like it would really hit when we were having the deep, spicy ketchup conversation earlier in the show.
Regular ketchup.
Well, if you missed any of that, you can listen back on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. We did have a side unlimited poll question, more sports related. Who won the NFL draft this weekend? The city of Green Bay, the Packers draft class, or Mark Murphy? Chime in on the Carbus Talk and text line. List is more 844-770-3776. 76. The Ringer, I have their draft grade for the Green Bay Packers, and it is a C+. And here's what they had to say. I found it a bit curious that the Packers took receivers with 2 of their first 3 picks, adding more playmakers to an already crowded skill group. Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden offers excellent speed, shifty route running skills, and ball winner mentality, giving Jordan Love another big play guy. But I'm just not sure he profiles as a true number 1, which is really what the team needed the most. Meanwhile, TCU's Savion Williams is a Cordell Patterson-type pass catcher. He's got work to do as a route runner, but offers athleticism and versatility to line up all over the formation, including the backfield. The Packers also beefed up in the trenches, adding a colossal offensive lineman in NC State's Anthony Belton, as well as power rushers in Texas Baron Sorrell, and here's what he finished it up with, which is kind of what I thought for the Packers draft for this year specifically. Altogether, this is a fine haul for the Packers, but I'm not sure it's a group that will put the team over the top. Because if I ask the two of you, how many day one contributors do you see out of this team, out of this draft, and I think the Packers needed 4 or 5, and I see
maybe
Golden.
3.
I see Golden, and I see Sorrell, maybe Savion Williams because of the position.
Right.
But, again, that's kind of matter how much he actually plays. Belton, he's not – ideally he doesn't play. You have your – that could be a good future pick. That's not a bad pick. I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about Brinson or Oliver or Michael Robinson or John Williams, but if you're betting anything after Sorrell, you're hoping for like special teams contribution, and then maybe in the future they can help.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no thoughts at all because I'm not going to pretend to know what these players will be in the future. But Sorrell and Golden are the only two you're like, I feel like those two could have an immediate impact. And everyone else, including Savion Williams, he might be a year away from being a truly used player outside of kick and punt returns. They're all future picks. The Packers need to win now. That's honestly the only negative thing I say. And all those guys might hit in 2 years, and it might be a fantastic draft. But they still, just like with free agency, Goody said urgency. These are not urgent picks.
Well, I would say given Matt LaFleur's affinity for the jet sweep and things like that, I think Savion's going to have more of a role than...
You didn't need him. You could have just continued to get all the read.
You're right, but I like his size. He's 6'4", 220. Like, that's the kind of guy you want taking hips around the line.
So you got 3?
Well, again,
did you disagree with the...
Two of them are at wide receiver potentially, which is not where I thought we had our biggest holes. Like, I 100% agree. But I also look at it as like, how many players would we need to hit to put the Packers over the top? I'm thinking like 6. How many times do you get first-time starters in the NFL? Like 6 of them out of a draft.
But I don't think you need 6 starters. You're not going to have Williams could be, most likely a.
No, Jim, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's any chance we could have had 3 picks in the first round, and I still don't think we're getting enough to put us over the top.
I'll just go back to, again, when I'm trying to talk about the Packers, I'm talking about the best teams. Philadelphia last year added 2 key starter players out of the draft, and there's probably others, but in Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, and then who was the Johnson? What?
No, it was
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Sorry. So they added 2 guys immediately that were instant starters and key star players. They probably had other draft picks. Jalen Carter came in and played right away. So other teams can do that.
Right,
and nobody's
but
stopping the Packers from doing it.
They were closer. If we've got 2 or 3, it's the same. We're 5 or 6 key pieces away.
But wouldn't you need more people if you're further away?
Productivity at edge rush. We've got 2 guys, but they're not the guys that are getting the production. Our cornerback room is depleted. We have no number 1 wide receiver, hopefully now in Golden. Like, there's too many holes on this team, and there's not a ton of depth at safety. Our offensive line was fine, but with 1 injury, who knows what kind of turmoil that brings up. So I don't hate it. We just didn't have enough picks in the early rounds to get all the pieces we needed. So I never thought, like, even if 2 of these guys hit and are great, it's still not going to put us over the top, barring some sort of Cinderella run.
See, I actually don't mind all the offensive line moves that they made, too, because I think Rasheed Walker's gone next year. And I don't even... Jordan Morgan?
Ryan's
who the hell is he?
Contract year's coming up.
Sean Ryan? Yep. Like, there's so many holes there that I don't mind
Jordan
them kind
Morgan
of...
was their first-round pick last year.
I know, but I'm saying
he's
you don't know
move
what...
in and probably play when Ryan's gone.
But like you don't know what he's going to be.
I don't have a problem with the Belton pick because that could be future. I'm saying this year.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But then I also, for this year, you guys brought up the urgency comments. I actually think that Brian Gutekunst, this might be the first time he's actually addressing those urgency comments by bringing in wide receivers because he's making it known, hey, your spot is not safe in this locker room, so you need to step up. Because last year there was a whole thing with Matt LaFleur saying, "Oh, we don't need a number one. We're gonna figure it out. We don't need to have a number one. We can have a bunch of guys that are great." Yeah, that turned out being wrong, right? So so they brought in 2 wide receivers for this upcoming year. That they're actually gonna present some comfortability in the locker room.
Dobbs and Watson.
I mean, Watson,
Wicks is wildly underperforming to what people think he is.
I was going to say with
after
Watson,
this year they're at year 4.
With
you gotta
Watson,
pick up
it's a little
5th year or not.
With Watson, it's a little tough too because yes, he would have drops and whatnot, but so much of it has just been his injuries, like out of his control. So
he's made out of glass, but at this point, you got to let it go.
No, 100%. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying like, whatever, But like Wicks, yes, Dobbs. Okay, hey Dobbs, you can't just not show up. Like your spot is not secure now because you did that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like those moves in terms of some urgency.
I'm not at all that part. There's just if you're looking at this team, the best teams, and again, we have no idea what this draft's going to look at it. But hey, you know who got an A again? Philadelphia Eagles, and they got an A again because this thing says they got multiple guys who are going to play immediately. They got multiple guys, and they have the same amount of picks the Packers have. So again, Seattle. They got multiple guys who might be starting. I have no idea what these teams will be, but those teams are historically Seattle. Honestly, over the last 15 years, Seattle and Green Bay aren't dramatically different. Seattle's got more Super Bowls, or appearances at least.
Yep.
So it's not impossible to add the Steelers again. And I'm just going off the drafts here. They look like they've added multiple starters. Oh, by the way, they also added DK Metcalf.
They also don't have a quarterback.
But they also added DK Metcalf. Right, they have to solve that. The Chiefs, they always get these high grades, and they got guys who can fill holes immediately and start. I'm not saying I have no idea in the future. I don't disagree with you. I will take Goody's word on if these guys will contribute in the future. I'm just saying that the Packers needed, to your point, an edge rusher. They needed more help in the middle. They needed, I thought, one legitimate guy who could push for starting job at the cornerback position. And then the least amount of concern I had, even though the wide receiver room wasn't great, at least you had, to Matt's point, a bunch of dudes there that could at least be capable. And yeah, putting pressure on them I think is useful. I also thought they need another running back because most teams have 2. The Packers have 1 legit elite running back, but they're putting a lot on the health of Marshawn Lloyd, who didn't play last year.
Yeah.
And they know they needed 2 running backs. They drafted.
We don't have to worry about his appendix anymore.
There you go. They know they need 2 running backs. So they drafted Marshawn Lloyd. They drafted him last year because they're like, we want to have 2 running backs. So they're rolling with it this year, being like, we are going to have 2 running backs, but it's just going to be the guy who didn't play last year because he had his appendix taken out. And so hopefully, look, an appendix is something you should be able to count on a guy coming back from. I'm just more surprised that the Packers are operating like a team, to Matt's point, that is a year or 2 away and not as a team that is now paying their quarterback an ungodly amount of money and should be trying to win every year immediately.
It kind of seems like that's what they're doing. They're like, hey, we're going to sacrifice the second contracts of all of our wide receivers to reload so we can continue to pay Jordan Love what he's being paid, but not pay another star guy. Like, yes, they're putting more probably faith on Jordan Love becoming more accurate and being able to hit these guys a little bit better, reducing the misses, less drops in theory. But, like, by reloading on weapons means you don't need to go in on those very expensive number 1 wide receivers. Like, I think this is Goody's plan we're 1-2 years away. If these guys turn out to be good.
Are you happy being 1 or 2 years away? Because I swear to God, going into the last football season, the Packers, every fan was telling me they were Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah,
now they're 1 or 2 years away.
Not me.
I was hoping that this year they would be. I thought they were going to make a bigger jump last year. Not necessarily in wins, losses, but definitely in production from some of these players. And I didn't see it.
I just want to see what the goalpost is. I thought this was a team that was going to be contending for Super Bowl titles, but now like they can't beat the Lions.
I mean, they haven't been able to beat the Lions since like 2021.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
so I understand what you're saying. So
now they're closer to the Bears and the Vikings, trying to like build their way up.
if you would say the Bears are the Bears can't put them on the bottom rung anymore, but
they're still there until they're not there.
The Packers they're probably a little bit closer to being a contender, like that middle mark, than where from the Bears to the Lions. Like they're probably just a touch higher, closer to the Lions, but they're not to the Lions yet.
They're just, to me, they seem like they're operating in a vacuum of like, we're just going to do our thing and we're going to draft the way we want to draft and we'll just draft future replacements. And to your point, that's all good management.
Trying to stay relevant.
But to your point, that's all smart. And same with your point. You're right. Trying to draft a lineman to replace linemen in the future, smart move. Receivers put a little pressure, so you don't have to pay those guys in the future. Pressure. But at some point, don't you want to win in the season you're in? And
My
they
thought
do it in free
is, what if Goody's waiting for us to get to, say next year, our 2 rookie receivers make a jump, and we're like, Watson, we're going to let you walk. Dobbs, we're going to let you walk. They're like, okay, we have now some cap room to get somebody.
What are we doing here?
To realize,
Town?
Here's the thing: you can't go all in unless you think you can win. If you're the Bears, or not the Bears, but if you're the Browns, you can't go all in on players and then be terrible.
So what are your expectation for the Packers this year is 10 wins?
Well, I'm saying if Goody's
Fight
thinking,
for a playoff spot?
I want this team to get to a point where I think we are 1 or 2 pieces away, and then I'll go out in the free agent market and get the pieces we need. But until then, I'm not going to go pay top dollar for a free agent if I don't think I'm going to get an immediate payoff for it. So I think he's rebuilding until he sees something like, hey, we're a B+ right now. To get to an A+, we can get a number 1 wide receiver and a corner. I'm going to get the best 2 guys in the free agent market.
So the headline I took out of that is Matt Hamilton believes Goody thinks the Packers have no chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
This year, yeah. I think the Packers have a very slim shot at winning the Super Bowl this year. They need to be some sort of Cinderella run.
Simon Chevy in Mount Horeb, you get yourself in a Cinderella. Get out of that pumpkin and get yourself into a Cinderella-type truck from Simon Chevy in Mount Horeb. You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simon Chevy in Mount Horeb. Matt, maybe next time you need to head off early and leave the show to go play volleyball, you could get yourself a truck from Simon Chevy in Mount Horeb. Only minutes away from a better buying experience. Are you around or are you out? For the next
I'm
segment? Yeah, all right. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
But
I've never seen the movie either.
I've only seen the
Really?
Yeah, I had no interest in the movie.
Oh my gosh, the movie is terrible. Terribly awesome. Did you just touch my butt, Dewey? I know your tricks, Dewey. What? I quote that all the time.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For only $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus, it comes with Pizza Hut's very own Ranch Lovers Flight, featuring 3 bold dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry. It's only available for a limited time. Head to a Pizza Hut location or order online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Ready to live the high life at home? Miller High Life is giving one lucky winner the ultimate backyard dive bar experience. It's a cabana complete with classic bar vibes, neon lights, and of course, plenty of high life. To enter, just order a Miller High Life at any participating dive bars in the Madison area and register with the link to the Miller High Life Backyard Dive Bar giveaway. Get a ticket to Dive Bar Glory at your local watering hole, like Sunset Harbor, Echo Tap and Grill, and the pub at Pleasant Springs.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. National and local awards proving Siding Unlimited will deliver peace of mind. Looking for inspiration to replace your windows, roofing, siding, and doors? Stop by our amazing showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. And definitely check out sidingunlimited.com. We are Siding Unlimited.
The keys of a new Audi are in reach at Audi of Madison. Save $3,000 on a new 2025 Audi Q5, A3 sedan, A5 Sportback, or A6 sedan. National Credit is good towards the purchase, finance, or lease of a new Audi, but is only available until April 30th. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see the current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline at Rimrock Road.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on the Packers. He's also on the American Family Insurance Team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
Dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. A customizable homepage, easier and quicker live listening. Your shows at the touch of a fingertip.
Unless there's a big boy trade coming that I don't see, Green Bay is going to run this thing back, and you hope that these other guys will emerge.
Available in Apple and Android app stores. Your one-stop shop for ESPN Wisconsin. The brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Download it today. Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
No sleep till!
You guys have heard Jim Rutledge talk about Carbon World Health for the last couple years now and his experience there. Well, I am so excited to get my journey started at Carbon at their brand new location in the Prairie Lake Shopping Center. This state-of-the-art facility will feature Carbon's innovative services, including Botox, hydrofacials, M-Sculpt, IV therapies, and so much more. Stop in today to get started on your health and beauty journey.
844-770-3776 is the Carbos Talking text line. This is more. We have Jim and Madison chiming in. I love seeing these journalists who were so wrong in their draft predictions. Example, Shador, now grading teams. They show they don't know anything when they're talking about. All right, Jim and Madison. I guarantee if the guy I read said the Packers had an A+ draft, you'd be drinking it down. You'd be drinking down the green and gold Kool-Aid. Also, I'd like to point this out. More often than not, those draft folks are correct. Why does Shador Sanders stand out? Because it was a weird aberration. Because I hate to tell you this, Jim. One, most of those guys aren't journalists. They are talking heads. But Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, Matt Millen,
Field Yates,
all these people, they are talking to people in the league. Now, they have to figure out what is smoke and what is real. But they're not just making stuff off the top of your head. As much as you want to believe it because you don't like it, they are connected. And case in point, we all were clear that I was reading The Ringer's
The Beast.
No, I was ringing the last one was The Ringer, their draft recap of the Packers. That was the Packers grade from TheRinger.com. But Rutledge is galactically stupid, guy says. Let's be honest, no matter what the Packers would have done, Rutledge would have poo-pooed it. It's a stick. I'm not poo-pooing.
Judgmental Jim.
I think Matthew Golden's going to be Jaden Reed-type performance year one. I think Sorrell is going to be a contributor. Williams, I think, in the future might be a good player. The rest, I have no take on them because I have no idea. I get the logic behind Belton from North Carolina State. Dude's a giant human being. Looks like he could probably play either guard position or right tackle. And to your point, Molly, it is backfilling. My point was the Packers, whether it's free agency or in this draft this year, have not built themselves like a team that is trying to win now. Or, and this is more likely, they are reheating their own nachos. I had multiple people tell me that they like their cornerback room more than the rest of us do. They think Hobbs and Nixon and Valentine, and I don't know what's going to happen with Jair. They think that's good. Mm-hmm. They like their They think half.
Don't forget about Micah Robinson.
They think all Lucas Van Ness and who's the other guy? Rashawn Gary
Kingsley.
All they needed was a new defensive line coach. That's what the Packers think. So you are relying on the Packers reheating their own nachos and believing that this will all be fixed. They're relying on Jordan Love now deciding this late in his career that he's going to run the ball more. Because that's the other thing they're talking about. That instead of making that wild throw down the field at 50-50.
Well, I mean, based on like his first year as the starter, he did run a lot more than he did last year because of all of his injuries too.
Right.
So can't negate that.
He did. He only rushed like 3 times.
He was
7
able to
times
actually
last
get
year.
away too. Like that was a huge problem last year.
But
he also-
many times I was like, just tuck it and get 5. It's better to go 4th and 3 than 3rd and 3 than 3rd and 7. Take what you can
Third
get.
and an interception.
Third and a pick.
He did throw. I mean, you don't want to take a safety or anything, but
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's better to throw a pick 6 than
I
it is
should
to
have
get a
mentioned to
safety.
Tucker Kraft, like, why
Good
didn't you
God.
keep up on your route there?
Oh my God,
Because
that
you
would have been
definitely
so
catch
good.
that ball if you stay on your horse.
You should have blamed the pick 6 on him.
and he ran.
I do.
My whole point is,
Should've
To
told
his
him,
face.
though.
in 2023, he ran for a grand total of 247 yards on 50 carries. Now, last year he fumbled the ball. He fumbles a decent amount, but he fumbled the ball more that year. Last year he ran 25 at 83. He had less games, but he's never been a running guy. But yes, he could have run more this last year.
Just showing the other team that it's an option should still open things up. If those linebackers that are playing middle linebacker have to back up because they're guarding a receiver who's running across the middle, and you're not going to take those yards they gave you, they're going to continue to do that and make that wide receiver window smaller.
As I said when he was healthy, Jordan Love is sneaky unathletic. Like, you're right.
Yeah,
he can
well,
get a few
be
yards.
sneaky, unathletic 3 yards further down the field. They'll
Look,
have to honor
to your
it.
point, it does keep the defense honest.
It does.
And he is a big guy that he is harder to bring down when he gets going.
Yeah,
He kind of reminded me of Big Ben when he ran. Now, he wasn't as big as Big Ben, but once he got going, he's a bigger guy. He's athletic. He's harder to bring down. But I remember specifically being at the game with you in Minnesota and seeing like 20 yards in front of him, and he took off, and I was like, oh, no. And then he gained like 4. I was like, oh, all right. I thought, like, I'm used to seeing a quarterback cover that ground, and that ground got covered quick by Minnesota. But it still was 4, and it still helped the Packers get into a better scenario than an incomplete pass or whatever. So
100%.
You're right. But my whole point is the Packers are a team that does not live in a vacuum. They are competing against the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings specifically. I'm not going to say the Bears until the Bears prove they can do it. Do I love that everyone's giving the Bears great grades for their draft and for signing a great head coach and for all the assistants that they paid like they've never done before?
Winning that offseason?
Absolutely. Well, they're winning
Let's
the offseason
go.
in a way they never have. The Bears haven't spent $13 million on an entire coaching staff before. They spent that just for Ben Johnson, let alone bringing in Al Harris and Dennis Allen. It still doesn't guarantee anything. But at least they are spending money on coaches and spending money in the trenches. But I can't put them in the category of the Vikings, Packers, or Lions until they get there. But the Packers, I thought, were trying to get closer to the Lions. It looks like they're still hanging more around the Vikings. Go be a winner. You can be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Millions of dollars won every single weekend at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Mark Tauscher coming up next.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Drum roll, please.
Carbless is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great carbless perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbless is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why Bliss is more with Carbless.
Hi, Dave from Canopy Wealth Management here. Our balanced approach helps guide you through a complex and ever-changing landscape. Throughout your family's financial planning journey, we will serve as a partner, advocate, and steward in all aspects to help you achieve your goals with confidence. At Canopy, care, competence, and clarity, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Your Honda
Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Mark Tauscher here for Prize Picks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes 2 ticket sweepstakes, which could get you a +1, a VIP trip to the ship. Download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Green Bay Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers. Chalmers Jewelers, with locations in Middleton and downtown Madison.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, Jim Rutledge.
Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer
Matt Hamilton. Help me out. Who is that?
Wisconsin football analyst.
You know what? It feels like Molly's the only one that's being sincere about that. So, Molly, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Mark Tauscher on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers. Chalmers Jewelers, with locations in Middleton and downtown Madison.
Jim, Matt, Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown and Matt Hamilton. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue. You know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
I have the power to introduce Mark Tauscher here. And, Mark, how are you doing after a fun, festivity-filled weekend in Green Bay?
I'm feeling great. I think the whole thing, I know you guys the last couple of weeks have kind of talked about dream nightmare scenarios for, the team and every NFL team, the North teams. And I think from, being a Packer fan in the city of Green Bay, I don't think, outside of the weather on Friday, I don't think things could have been dreamt bigger than how things played out for Green Bay. The draft was a major success, probably 3 times as many people as they thought were coming through. And they got the position that they probably needed to address. They got their guy at 23. So I think all in all, I don't know if you're a Packer fan, how you couldn't come out of that last weekend feeling, A, very proud of how your organization, your team put together a big event, and B, hey, you feel like your football team got a lot better.
So with that, it's kind of on that exact line there as far as winning the PR and winning the draft. The Packers had 2 guys in Matthew Golden and Baron Sorrell, who had great draft moments. Golden grabbing the mic, Mark Murphy introducing him, seems like a great personality. And then Sorrell, who I think it was on an Athletic podcast, said that when they asked players at Texas who were leaving if they could take one guy with them to their NFL team, who would it be? And the answer was Sorrell, which speaks a lot to him. But him hanging out in the green room and doing all that. The Packers won with some fun stories on top of hosting a great draft.
Yeah, and I think Wildy probably likes that more than anybody else because, that's all great, and I love the fact that there's great stories, but I just want guys that are good players. And by all accounts, I think there's, you can make an argument from an edge standpoint, twitchiness and everything else. People are pretty excited about what he can do to help this defense, but the renowned everybody is kind of excited about the Packers' first pick, and I'm actually really excited about their third pick, who I think can come in and really do some things from TCU on the jet sweep game and everything else. And I think the big picture, what we learned, at least from where the Packers were compared to public perception, I think the public perception was, man, we really need to improve on defense. And then a wideout, and it looks as if, and I noticed this when Matt LaFleur joined Jason and I up at the Tundra Trio, they definitely there's some scarring from what happened at the end of the season and how this offense played in comparison to the defense. And not to say the defense doesn't need to improve, but there's no doubt that Goody and Matt LaFleur both feel like this defense was in a much better spot than what the offense was coming into this offseason. And that's how it's not about what they say, it's about what they do. And when you look at the major acquisitions, whether it's free agency or early in this draft, the offense is what got addressed a lot more than the defense did.
Now, Tausch, I'm curious, besides wide receiver, do you feel like a position or, like you just said, the defense, do you feel like anything got significantly stronger or more powerful after this draft?
I mean, I definitely think if the receiving core isn't much better and stronger, we're in trouble.
Well, no, besides the wide receivers.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think you addressed another offensive line position, which makes me think, man, they're really, with all the free agents that are, coming up on the O-line, and you bring the big fella in from North Carolina State, you're adding another player that you feel like can help you. And, obviously Banks in the free agency, pickup. That was, I think, we heard urgency, we heard all this, and we saw the receivers, we saw the drops, we saw all of that throughout. But I think the offensive line was something that people thought, well, it'll be nice, but we don't really, we replaced Myers with Jordan, with Elton Jenkins, and then we got Jordan Morgan going in. We're going to be fine. And obviously, Goody did not feel that way. So I think and then listen, I think the idea of not picking up a defensive back earlier than in the 7th round, I think probably will bother some Packer fans. But what you noticed is it didn't feel like they were going to rush and stretch to go and get somebody that didn't fall at the value that they felt. And I think the board kind of felt that nobody thought they were going to grab a receiver in that 3rd round. They did. And then you ended up going edge to try to improve that pass rush and get more competition in there. So I think you have to think that the edge and some of the athleticism coming off trying to get to the quarterback, you hope will be improved as well, whether it's just from these guys coming in or those guys that need to develop, knowing that, hey, there's a couple of guys behind you that are going to continue to push you. So you need to get that development from within, and then also the new guys that you brought in in the draft.
Tausch, any of the later picks jump out at you? Like maybe people that could contribute in season 1? Maybe not right out the gate, but like at some point this season, could you see any of these, like Colin Oliver, Warren Brinson, Micah Robinson, or John Williams making an impact in this first season?
I don't think. I mean, Brinson, I think, is a bigger-bodied guy, and obviously you lose Slayton in free agency, so teams are going to run the football, and you need to have big bodies in there. Obviously, I think he's going to get opportunities to kind of be one of those, find a role, because when you're looking at those 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, it's going to be special teams. And then occasionally you'll get guys that, there's some injuries and they get opportunities. They're not going to be kind of thrown in as a potential starter unless there's guys that get injured and then they earn that opportunity to continue to get more and more reps. This is more of a, can we find a role? Can we find some spots? And I think in that case, I think you're looking at a big body that might be a good run stuffer. If the tush push comes back into play, you want those big bodies. Otherwise, I don't think this team is in the position where they're banking or expecting anyone that was drafted 5th, 6th, 7th round or undrafted free agents to come in and have to make a huge impact this coming season.
Shedeur Sanders was obviously the star of the NFL this weekend. I'm curious because my initial reaction right when the Steelers picked at 19 and they didn't pick Shedeur Sanders, I was like, oh my God, Rodgers is going to the Steelers. That did it for me. I've chilled out on that a little bit, but I'm curious, where do you think that Rodgers is going to end up now that we've seen what's shaken up in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Pittsburgh or he's going to retire. I mean, I think Minnesota obviously traded for Howell, and things can change in this league real quickly, whether or not, teams will have the patience to wait out to see, if Pittsburgh does make a decision and move on and go get Kirk Cousins, then you would think that Aaron Rodgers is basically going to be sitting there, and if he does want to play, it would be with a team that has a big injury that has a championship roster. So I think right now it's Pittsburgh or nowhere, but things change as you get later into the summer and into fall. Opportunities will arise. I think there's no doubt Pittsburgh is in the driver's seat in that communication. It seems as if both parties kind of understand each other and where they're both at.
Mark, the Packers signed Isaiah Simmons, a former 8th overall pick from Arizona, last of the Giants, has not had massive production, but it does seem like a pick that maybe after the draft they felt like, hey, there's a few holes we have to fill. Why not take a pretty easy contract on a guy with obviously a ton of talent if he was drafted 8th overall in 2020?
Yeah, I think it's a smart play. And, I know there's a lot of comparisons on Twitter with Zach Bond. Man, it would be awesome if it's even half of what Zach Bond did for Philadelphia. But it's a very similar situation. You had Zach was not quite as highly drafted, but a first-round pick that it didn't work for whatever reason, whether it was fit or injury or whatever it would be. And then you get that opportunity, you see something, and there's always room for guys that can run and that are aggressive and that have the skill set. And then it's just figuring out what role can we find that they can really thrive in. And then you never know. Maybe you'll end up finding somebody on a really – I haven't seen the contract details on that, but I can't imagine it's a huge investment. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, I don't think, whether it's inside linebacker or if you're going to end up seeing him out on the edge rushing, it's worth taking a flyer on, especially somebody that was drafted as high as he was.
We do have a Side Limited poll question I wanted to get your thoughts of. We asked who won the weekend. Was it the City of Green Bay, the Packers draft class, or Mark Murphy? By a landslide with our fans, it's 69% of them say the City of Green Bay. What's your pick on that one?
No, it's Mark Murphy.
Yeah.
Because the City of Green Bay won as well. And we'll see. The Packers, obviously, that's going to be very subjective as far as how this draft class went, how they contribute and everything else. But there is no doubt it's Mark Murphy. The moment that he was able to have, and that was Thursday night, and then to pass the ball off to Pittsburgh with everybody saying how great of a job they did, and anyone that was up there had a great time. The environment, no issues. That I don't think anything that was reported or anything happened, and just the love that I think he's felt. The fact that Brian Gutekunst and his staff gave him a round of applause and got him in front of the scouts to. Everybody wanted to make sure Mark Murphy got his moment. He got his moment. He got to shine on stage with Roger Goodell. I don't know how you have a better weekend and a legacy leaver that he's leaving with in his last couple months on the job. The City of Green Bay shined as well, but I think Mark Murphy was the big star of the whole weekend.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I compared it to like normal times if we ever go back to, but usually, like, when a president leaves, a few years later, you're like, you know what? I missed that guy. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Everyone loves George Bush painting pictures now. And, like, you kind of just, in the end, you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to miss that goofball on Mark Murphy. And I think Packer fans might end up feeling the same on it.
He's a complicated fella.
He is a complicated fella. The last thing I had for you, Mark, was the Badgers in the draft. I don't know what it says about the program, and we did actually talk to Ian Fitzsimmons on Saturday, and he said that he loves Fickell and is all in Fickell, and Badger fans need to have patience with him, but I believe this was the lowest the Badgers have gone in a very long time to have their first Badger picked. In fact, Chimere Dike would have been the first Badger picked, but he went to Florida. Graham Mertz was picked in front of some of these guys. So how much and the Badgers were known for undrafted free agents and drafted players. How much is that an indication with the NIL stuff nowadays of like what kind of roster you have with how many pro players you're turning out?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that we need to have more pros. And there's, for as much as you can have a great program, and I'm not going to flip it back to the late 90s and early 2000s. We had obviously what Brett Bielema did with all of the players that were first-round picks, and there was a stretch where every offensive lineman was the highest paid at their position. And that was not long ago. So there's a lot of work to do. And I think Luke Fickell, he's only been going to be his third class. You're going to have, it's a different era of football. And you have to win in the portal. You have to win in talent acquisition. And it's no longer, let's get a guy, let's build him for 4 years and then, send him off. It's now a year to year. And really with two portals being open, it's a month to month operation, and it's getting more and more difficult. I think Wisconsin throughout the years has always been, let's let guys grow, let's let them develop, and there will still be guys like Jack Nelson, who's here 5 years and got a lot of time and is able to go on and he get drafted in the 7th round, and Hunter Wooler, another great example, really good football player. But those guys that are here 5 years and develop and go through, those are going to be like the woolly mammoth. I mean, it is going to be very difficult to keep that group, and that's where I think Luke Fickell and the staff, everybody is figuring this out as they go. It is now a year-to-year business. It's no longer the 4 and 5 year build. It's just that's not where college football is right now. I hope it gets back to it. I don't know, and I don't think that's the way this is going, but that definitely is it's just the new era of college football, and I think we all kind of have to figure it out as we're going.
Mark, thank you.
You bet, guys.
It's Mark Tauscher, Packer Hall of Famer, brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
We don't speak about
Speak
her.
about rivals.
We are not rivals. Yeah, me and Kay are not on the same level in the same sense that Matt thinks that the Bears and the Packers aren't on the same level.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Chevy Truck Month is back. Get more truck for your buck at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Right now, get 2.9% APR financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Chevy Silverado. That's right, 2.9% for 6 years. That really is more truck for your buck. But hurry, offer ends on April 30th. Never overpay. Shop Zimbrick Chevrolet. No down payment required. Monthly payments equal $15.15 per 1,000 financed with approved credit through GM Financial.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, it's Nikias Duncan joining Marcus and Chris to talk playoffs. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Oh, can't show you in there.
Why not?
That's the bathroom. We need a new shower bad.
Think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin? Upload your photo by April 30th to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Luxstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contests.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Get up. Get out of here. Gone.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by J&K Security Solutions and Revive Restoration.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wildy?
Yeah, everybody's talking about it. Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
No drafts. Got it.
There's more than one draft?
No, but Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades when you order by April 30th. Our talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more, along with durable and distinguished details. All Pella products stand the test of time, which is why we confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 4/30/2025.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
1, 2, 3,
Some takes are cooler than others.
You know this kid is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Some opinions are just cooler than the rest.
Now what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
And if you keep it chill, then it's a cold take.
Chill out. I'm chill. I'm chill as a cucumber, man.
I'm always the coldest.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's chillest Kia dealership.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light. Matt Hamilton, Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you.
Hello.
We got Tarek Salah, Derek Engler in the bullpen out here coming in to do a live show with Alex G coming up next, but we're doing Throwing Stones, and I want to throw a stone. I think his last name was Ulbrich. I can't remember his first name there. The
defensive coordinator for the Falcons or his son? His son's name is Jax, son of Jeff.
Yeah, I knew it was Jeff. So Jax Ulbrich, right there, already red flag. And then he is from Ole Miss. He apparently,
red flag.
I don't know if I believe this or not, somehow got Shedeur Sanders' phone number off of his dad's desk or phone, whatever. This was a private number that was
his
given.
iPad.
His
iPad. Team-issued iPad.
Team-issued iPad. That this was a private number that only teams had because Shedeur got a phone just for this because apparently this has happened before. Apparently it also happened to Tyler Warren during this draft. But then Jax decides to call, prank Shedeur Sanders, and then put it on social media. So, like, one, be a jerk, and then also
show the world that you're
look like an idiot.
Yeah, show the world your whole ass. But also, like, did you not expect to get found out immediately? You could have gotten your dad fired.
I'm surprised. Is his dad not getting any repercussions
Which is
at all?
wild. The Falcons have to change that. I think the league's going to come in. The Falcons said they're not going to do any repercussions for it. I think the league's going to come in and do something to him.
That was so unnecessary. Like, first of all, like, have a heart. Like, this kid last year would have been, he was touted as a top 10 guy when he comes out next season. Maybe the number 1. And he drops all the way to 5. Like, he went out of the first day, and I get it. Like, it's Deion Sanders' kid, and there's a lot of hype behind him, and maybe some of it is a little Nepo hype because his dad is Deion Sanders. But, like, realistically, the kid, he was the best, most accurate passer in college football.
Yep.
He had no offensive line to help him. They say he holds the ball too long. It's like he had to focus on not getting killed before he got rid of the ball. Like, there's a lot of things that can be overlooked. The long story short is he failed at all of his in-person meetings with these owners that didn't think
also,
he would be a fit.
I don't know if it's long story short. I don't know if we're ever going to know the whole
There's
story.
also a lot of teams that didn't bother because they didn't need a quarterback.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, the people that need a quarterback, and it's also a Shedeur's expectation of coming in, being the one, and then don't draft me if you're not looking for a culture change. Like, he just didn't say the right things, and that's why he dropped. It's probably not a talent thing.
Yeah,
maybe
I don't
you
care.
can go a little bit on size, but
I don't care why Shedeur dropped.
The prank is awful. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
Like, because there's literally a video that you see both sides of the call, and I was like, ugh.
But also, like,
brutal.
we need to create a culture where this kid faces social and any legal repercussions he can, and with his dad. Like, universally, everyone has to tell this kid, Jax, this ain't it. It ain't funny. You're a loser. You're always going to be the loser who was mad at Shedeur Sanders for being better than you, and so you thought it'd be funny to prank him. Big loser, big loser actions there and energy there
BLM.
from. There you go. This has been Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
See ya.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips